Hello there, and welcome to the Generational Gamer. This is the Titanic Escape Simulator. I haven't played this game at all, but let's go over the story real fast. Basically, you are an investigator trying to get off of the Titanic. Fight for survival. Yeah, that's very important given the ship does sink April 15th, 1912. Now, I have always been interested in this ship, mainly because of my childhood. So I was a small child at the time when Robert Ballard found this ship, and I remember saying to my mother, who was watching the Titanic, I said, "What's the Titanic?" And she said it was the unsinkable ship. And what happened to it? Well, it sank. And from that point on, I always had a passing interest in Titanic ship. Now, this ship led me to being interested in other vessels from the era, like the Lusitania, the Mauretania, the sister ships, the Olympic, Britannic. The Britannic sank. The Olympic was the one that survived the Great Depression and then was promptly scrapped when Cunard, who's still in existence today, was forced to merge with White Star, and they owned more of the company, so their stuff was primary. That's why we had the Queen Mary, which is currently docked in Long Beach, California. And the Oceanic, which was White Star's version of the massive 80-ton liner, did not get made. But most of White Star's ships and the stuff from the First World War, which is something this thing also got me interested in, most of them were scrapped. The Aquitania was one of the few that actually did survive both world wars, and interestingly enough, that ship was designed to ride along with the Lusitania and the Mauretania, which were a couple years older than the Olympic and then Titanic and then Britannic. The Mauretania survived and was a running mate to the Olympic once the two merged, although they were both very old ships at the time. And the Britannic was sunk by a mine. It's in the Aegean Sea. It's about 350 feet deep. It's still available if you're a skilled diver. But getting past that, the Lusitania was sunk during World War I. Or actually, it's one of the things that led us into the World War, although not exactly. People have certainly questioned whether or not it was the reason the Americans got in. There were a lot of Americans on board. But anyway, that's a twisted mess today. But the Olympic, Titanic's older sister by a year, actually survived World War I with the nickname of Old Reliable. They were almost identical in appearance. The Titanic had a few extra bells and whistles that made it the largest, where in the Titanic it was Cal's room. It was for J.P. Morgan, but he decided not to go on that vessel that day for some reason, I forgot. But neither here nor there. Anyway, so I've always been interested in the ship. It got me interested in history, and now we're going to take a look at a game that allows you to actually walk around the decks of the Titanic. It's pretty cool. There's another game called Adventure Out of Time, which is available on GOG if you're ever interested in something like that. It doesn't run well on the Steam Deck, and this is set to run on the Steam Deck. So we're going to try this and see how it works. So this is the first time I've played this game. Let's give it a try. Okay, so here we've got our choice. We can play. You've got your settings. Let's just take a look, see what we have here. Volume, that's pretty much it. Let's see, video, your video quality. It's a Steam Deck, but it's on an external monitor, so we can drop it down or we can bring it back up. Actually, no, I think that's probably the extent. That's probably a good one, 1280 by 720. And I can't imagine this really being too hard on the Steam Deck. And our general, it was an English ship, so English seems logical. Mouse and keyboard, it looks like you probably can remap to a PC or to a controller. I do not have one set up. In interest of time, let me just tell you, it runs terribly on the Steam Deck. Let's move forward. Okay, so let's try this again. New game. That is a beautiful picture of this ship. And the tugboats. It's already working a little hokey. Well, let's see. Stand up. W.
Of the universe.
Yeah, controls are leaps and bounds better.
1,000 on the runtime. We'll be in New York by Tuesday night.
And like a first-person shooter, your mouse points you in the direction you want to go.
They think this world is permanent, that the steel will hold forever.
Okay, and you can clearly see the grand staircase and the dome. In the movie, where we are, the water came crashing in there. Oh, you know what I just realized? Let me close that. The detail is pretty damn good. I mean, the character models are okay.
I need the air.
Now, J.P. Morgan, yes, the chase guy, owned the International Mercantile, I forgot what the name of it is.
But steel is
And they owned White Star. So it was actually an American company that owned it. Yeah, I don't know where it wants me to go, but this is the promenade deck. I think it's a second class one. Can you run? So the detail on the ship is really good.
1912. It was the coldest night I can remember. The kind of cold that gets into your bones and stays there.
Can you go in any other rooms?
It's beautiful, isn't it, Isidore? The water is so still.
Peaceful, like a painting.
Look at that water, flat as oil. No waves means no breaking white water at the base of an iceberg. By the time the lookouts see it, it will be too late.
This guy's onto something. He's absolutely right.
I didn't come here to die. I'm not a hero.
It's almost like he knows.
A villain. I came for a job. A simple retrieval contract. Find a man named Sinclair. Get a book. Get paid. Easy money, Rothfield said. Just a simple trip across the pond. Let me tell you how I ended up on a grave.
That's actually pretty cool. So unlock the facts. What the hell? Okay. Oh, it's the phone.
Sir, I apologize for the
Look at the early 20th century telephones.
He was quite insistent it was for you. Didn't leave a card.
No card. How dramatic. Thank you, Mrs. Higgins.
So pick up the leather notebook. So we gotta hit that. It's gonna be E.
My second brain. The mind is fallible.
And there's the transcription.
It's permanent. If I don't write it down, it didn't happen.
Can you imagine? People used to journal. Now we gotta get my coat. The heck do you get over there? Gotta get my revolver.
A clumsy instrument. If a case requires a gunshot. A clumsy instrument. If a case requires a gunshot, I have already failed to use my intellect. It stays here. A clumsy instrument. If a case requires
Alright,
a
put it
gunshot,
back.
I have already failed to use my intellect. It stays here.
Alright, putting it back. Pick up.
An electric torch. Modern science.
I.e. flashlight.
Useful for seeing what others prefer to keep hidden.
Yeah, can you believe that? That is so cool. I like the history. Press F to enable the torch. Now we're just gonna put it away. It's fine. And now we need our coat because it's cold.
In London, the damp has a way of seeping into the soul. Best
Put on trench coat and leather notebook. Did I miss anything? I think I got everything. Let's just go to the door. The letter. Let's see what it says.
A mind that sees what others ignore.
Okay.
My staff have been dismissed. My Kensington estate is empty. If you are as sharp as they say, you will find your payment and your ticket. inside my private study. The door is unlocked.
Kensington.
So you may have noticed that there's something missing from this room.
Let us see if his puzzle is worth my time.
Communal bathrooms were still prevalent back then. Can you believe that? This is at a dude's house. We're not on the ship right now. We need the flashlight.
Moving an entire museum across the Atlantic. Ostentatious.
Find the ticket. So I don't think the flashlight's working. Spaces jump. How the hell do you turn the flashlight on? Controls. That doesn't tell me anything. So it's probably the left mouse button then. Also, don't plan to do much editing outside of adding things over top of it. Ah shit, I pushed the wrong button. And removing things like this.
Moving an entire museum across the Atlantic. Ostentatious.
The wardrobe. I mean, this is kind of cool. I'd rather spend my time on the ship rather than messing around with this. There we go. It is the left mouse button. Let's go upstairs. Looks like there's an attic. We'll go through that too. Search for the key. I'm not going to do that. Oh, you can use a lockpick. That's cool. Alright, you know what? We're not going to do this. How the hell do you get out of it? You can. Alright, I can tell you right now this game isn't for me. Because I'm already getting ticked off, and it does not allow me to stand on the ship right now because it wants me to go through the story. Now, this game was given to me for the purpose of a review, and honestly, I can't even play this game. None of the buttons get me out of this either. I literally hit every button on the keyboard. I mean, I think I'm getting further in picking the lock. Now, me personally, as I've gotten older, my patience for mini games is pretty minimal. I see what to do. We're gonna bring it down to about here. And it should open. Or not. Too far. Almost there. Nope. 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 So I gotta find the happy medium. How about there? Nope. That's pretty close. Nope. There we go. I unlocked the door. Hallelujah. Freaking. Oh, Jesus. We don't get to pick this one? Yeah, we're just gonna back up. I'm not doing that again. I like these clocks. I really do like the spectacle of it, but I do not have patience to deal with that stuff. Let's go upstairs. And quite frankly, I want to get back on the ship. I don't really want to play this like this. How the hell do you get up there? Alright. Well, then it's got to be in this room, right? Because where else would it be? No. Probably in here. Right? Right. $331.9. Well, I'm guessing that's what this is. Look at that. And there's the ticket. There we go. Collect. Close. Close. Alright, screw it. I don't give a shit. We're just gonna leave it. And now we're gonna go to the main. Or it's gonna jam on me.
Impressive. Mr. Sinclair was worried you might be a brute. I see you prefer to think.
And you are? The welcoming committee?
I am Mr. Graves. I handle Mr. Sinclair's security. The Titanic sails from Southampton on Wednesday the 10th. Do not be late. And detective? Keep that torch handy. The Atlantic is a very dark place.
Alright, now we're back onto the ship. I hope. So that's actually a pretty good recreation of the 1912 Southampton dock.
Look at them, worshipping a pile of rivets as if it were a cathedral.
Reach the ramp. I don't know how to do that. Oh, go down the stairs. Here we go. I don't know why we're walking so slow, right? So in the James Cameron movie, they actually reversed everything. Everything on the dock scene was a mirror image because the way the ship was built.
The 1912 coal strike.
The set of the ship.
By a massive national coal strike in Britain. To ensure the ship of dreams sailed on time, the White Star Line cancelled the voyages of several other ships, transferring all their coal and many of their displaced passengers directly to the Titanic. You are sailing on the only ship in Southampton that could afford to leave the dock.
Pretty cool, huh? I don't know exactly where to go. But I see steps in this area right here.
Titanic sails today. Largest moving object made by the hand of man. Read all about it, sir.
Yeah, I don't need to talk to him. We know what happens. Now, technology of this type was far more impressive in its day than, say, today. Unless it has a phone sticking in it, it's not really that impressive anymore. But then again, the phone was kind of impressive. And I would expect this dock to be a hell of a lot busier. But I believe it should be in the reverse. We're on the wrong side. Another trivia, that fourth funnel right there, completely fake.
Tickets, please. Luggage on the table. Mr. Arthur Morgan, guest of Mr. Edward Sinclair. Very good. Any firearms, explosives, or livestock?
I prefer to rely on my wits.
Clean. Enjoy the crossing, sir.
That's all you needed. You have any firearms? No. Okay. Enjoy your travel. Alright, it's loading right now.
You brought the darkness with you. It walked in your shadow.
Move along, crazy man. Apologies, sir. Some of the steerage lot get spooked by the size of him.
Superstition. Bad luck to launch on a Wednesday, they say. I'd say it's worse luck to be this loud.
Mr. Arthur Morgan, a pleasure. I am Thomas, your personal steward. Mr. Sinclair insisted you be placed in C70. Excellent light for reading.
Lovely guests. The cream of society.
Here we are, C70, port side.
One message from Mr. Sinclair, sir. He is indisposed. He requests you meet him in the smoke room at 6 p.m.
We can do that.
The wolves will be feeding by then.
Wolves. Right. Dramatic as always. Thank you, Thomas.
I shall return to turn down the bed later. Try to rest. It is a long way down to New York.
Yeah, you never make it either. So this would be a first class suite, right? Or room, I guess. It's not a suite.
The Titanic could cost up to £870, roughly $100,000 in today's money. These rooms were designed to make the wealthy forget they were on a ship.
Running water,
extensive mahogany paneling, and cutting-edge electric heater.
You see what we're missing? Like I said, there's no bathroom. You shared. But the detail is pretty solid.
Blank pages. Let's hope they stay that way. A light for the dark. Sinclair said there would be shadows.
Alright, what does it want me to do? And it just saved my game. Does it give you the option to save it normally? It does not appear so.
Turn back while you can.
Alright, the creepy ghosts I could do without.
Pupils dilated, hands trembling, hallucinations. Pulse 110. Classic symptoms of acute exhaustion. The stress of the last 2 days is catching up. The mind is a machine. It cannot function without maintenance.
Alright, so we're going to bed. Alright. Yeah, that's the way the ship looked in all the pictures I've seen. Alright. Grab my letter. Boom. And read it in real text. I require a mind that sees what others ignore. My staff has been dismissed. My Kensington estate is My Kensington estate is empty. If you're as sharp as they say, you will find your payment and your ticket inside my private study. The door is unlocked. Now I did already. Okay, and I am actually going to end the... Well, I'm treating this like a stream right now. But if you want to see more, I'll be happy to show it. I'll have to do it from my main computer. Clearly, this thing isn't going to work on the Steam Deck, at least not right now. Ooh, I forgot to do a few things. I gotta inspect the clock. That would be in the grand staircase. The detail of the ship is pretty good, and I like that. However, it is really jumpy on this, and I don't particularly care for that. I don't think this is the clock. I think the clock is the one that Jack stood near for the folks who've seen the movie, which is damn near everybody because it made millions of dollars. But the animation is not particularly good. Yeah, there we go. There's the clock. Now let's inspect it. I don't know what it's doing. I think it's loading. A bit dramatic for a clock. Anyway, right there. I'm going to end it right there. I want to thank you for watching. Let me know if you want to see anything more. Be happy to show you. Anyway, have a good one. Bye-bye.